Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
Hiring salespeople based on a resume or a great interview is like drafting players based on their Instagram highlights. They look amazing in the clips. That's until the real game starts.
Exactly. Every CEO's been there. The interviews go great. You think you're bringing a top performer onto your team, but once they hit the field, they can't close, won't prospect, and blame the leads.
That's exactly why we recommend Sales Index Unlimited Candidate Assessments. It's your sales recruiting engine that screens every candidate against 21 proven sales competencies, benchmarked against 2.5 million sales professionals worldwide. That is more than a personality profile. You'll know with confidence who can sell and who will actually do the work.
Because the best teams don't just fill positions, they build a bench. They're always scouting for great players who can perform under pressure.
For just $2.99 a month, you can build your own bench of ready-to-sell talent, coachable, driven, and proven before they ever get the jersey.
So stop guessing, start scouting like a pro.
Go to unlimited.salesindex.ai. That's unlimited.salesindex.ai and start building your next sales all-star team today. Hello and welcome back to Selling from the Heart. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
We have all kinds of things going on. I'm fired up for our guest today. More importantly, I appreciate everyone in the Selling from the Heart community, Darrell.
Absolutely. Mark Carpenter is here. We're going to lead like a person and sell like a person, not a position. Going to be a great conversation. We always kick the show off by giving a shout out to one of our friends in the Selling from the Heart community.
I absolutely love this guy. I love everything about Kelly Riggs. Class act individual, past podcast guest. I love interacting with his content. Kelly, I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, we're cheering you on. Thanks for all the stuff you're bringing us from the sales locker room. You're the man. Well, hey, today's guest embodies the values of Selling from the Heart perfectly. Mark Carpenter is a keynote speaker, a coach, a best-selling author who's helping leaders and sales professionals bring more heart, story, and humanity into the way they lead, sell, and connect. Mark is the author of the new book, Lead Like a Person, Not a Position, and the co-author of one of our favorites, Master Storytelling, How to Turn Your Experiences into Stories That Teach, Lead, and Inspire. Through his work, Mark is reshaping business leadership with one powerful idea. When you lead and when you sell, you do it as a person first. When you do it that way, you unlock commitment, trust, and performance that no title or tactic ever could. Mark, welcome back to Selling from the Heart. We're so glad you're here today.
Darrell, thank you. And I love that introduction. And it just reminded me of how connected we are in terms of our values. I mean, even your standard intro that talks about selling with sincerity and substance. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Such a great combination, that sincerity and substance.
Keep it going, Mark Carpenter. We love it.
There we go. But first, you know the question, Mark, because you've been here before. What does Selling from the Heart mean to you today?
It means treating people like people. And this is the essence of what I talk about in my leadership speeches and in this book is you got to lead like people too. Too often we get caught up in, I'm in this position, you're in this position. And so from a sales side, it's like, you're a client, I'm the sales representative, or I'm the business development leader. And we're going to talk to each other in those positions, but we don't talk to each other as people. And when we don't do that, we miss the opportunity to make the connections that we need to get the success that we really both want and need.
Oh, hey, we're going to have a great conversation around this today. And, as we start, the conversation off, this is what I started thinking about listening to that is, what would it be like if we removed the titles and instead of sitting face to face with somebody, we're actually on the other side of the table right next to them?
Yeah.
What would that be like, Mark?
Oh, that would be an amazing thing. And it'd be an amazing connection that we'd have, again, as people. And I'm coming at it from the frontline leader standpoint. So I really think that we fail our frontline leaders in a lot of ways because of just what you said, Larry. We put them into this title, we put them into this new position, and all of a sudden they have to be kind of a different person. So think about this. I'm going to let you play along with me on this, if you would. You got a sales team, frontline sales team, and they need a new leader. Who gets promoted to be the leader of that team?
Best salesperson.
Best salesperson. Very typically, it's the best salesperson or the one with the longest tenure, the one that's been there the longest. Agreed?
Yep, absolutely.
Does that qualify them to be a good people leader?
No.
Yeah, my answer is not necessarily. I mean, sometimes it works out, and particularly if they've been selling from the heart, if they've been following you, maybe they are, but they have good position skills, not necessarily good people skills.
Mm.
And then you put them into this manager position. We put that title on them. And what kind of training do people typically get when they're put into that leadership position?
A slap on the back and good luck.
That's right.
You know what, Larry? That's the most common answer I get is virtually none. Or we give them, here's the new systems you have to use. Here's processes to follow. Here's what to do if something goes wrong. Here's the forms you need to fill out, the meetings you need to attend. None of those have anything to do with the newest part of their job, which is how do you lead people?
Mm-hmm.
And so we put people into these positions and we say, now lead people. But if they don't know how to lead people, what do they lean back on? They lean back on their position. And that's where you get leaders who say, well, when I was in your position, I just did it this way. Just do it. Or they'll say, well, let me just do this for you. Or do it because I said so. And then that doesn't help. That actually creates division within the team. And that's what I call leading like a position.
Mm-hmm.
So position focused there instead of leading like a person. There's a great quote from an ancient Greek poet, Archilochus is his name. And this is like 200 BC. He said, we do not rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our training.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have not given people any kind of training except for position training, when things get tough, what do they fall back on? What they know. They fall back on position. And so that's where I'm coming in to say we need to develop people with the people skills so they can truly lead people.
100%. Boy, I'll tell you what, I think that is so spot on. I've experienced it myself in being promoted into that role. Larry's experienced it. So many of our listeners have experienced it. And we're massive, massive champions at selling from the heart in not just training salespeople, but also coaching leaders in these skills, because without that, it's just really so. Coach us, Mark. What do we need to do? I mean, we got so many leaders. We've got aspiring leaders listening in going, okay, that's true. That's great. What do I do about it?
Yeah. I take a couple of approaches on this. One of them is don't put people in a position where you force them into a leadership role, or at least don't force them into a leadership role without preparing them.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in a software company. And I still remember there was a guy who was promoted to lead his team. And I ran into him right after they'd announced that he was managing this team. And I was like, hey, congratulations. And he goes, I don't want to do this. I was like, what are you talking about? And he says, I don't want to lead the team. I just want to write code. I said, well, why did you take this position? He said, it's the only way I could get a raise this year because I was at the top of my salary range.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, dude, that's like the worst reason to take a position. And again, they didn't give him any people skills in that. Within a year, he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And his team was just totally fractured during that time because he didn't lead them very well. And so look at people and say, is this something that you want? Or can we find a way for you to just keep being a good salesperson and not be a leader?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to be in a leadership role. Or let's give you some skills and see how you do with them before you step into that role. Now, I went out and did a search, extensive searches on the internet for top leadership skills or most important leadership skills. And I came up with like 160 different words. I created a word cloud out of it because there's all these so many different words that come up in there. And, you've got things in there like empathy and innovation and team building that are really kind of vague. So I propose that if we can help these frontline leaders develop 3 skills, it'll actually help with almost all of those leadership skills that people need. I refer to them as listening intently, communicating intentionally, and recognizing individually. And so leaders often especially when they're put into that first time role, they're like, shoot, I'm the leader now. I have to have all the answers. And so they try to come up with all the answers. And when they're trying to come up with all the answers on their own, they stop listening to other people. And the most important thing they can do in that position to solve problems is to actually listen to their people, to talk to them about it, and really listen to what's going on. So that's what I refer to as listening intently. Communicating intentionally is communicating not just what to do, but why. But we often get to what and how, but a lot of times we don't get to the why. And this ties back into the other work you referenced earlier, Darrell, which is the master storytelling. Tell people the story that helps them understand, oh, this is how it connects to me. You want me to make this change, or we're changing this process. Well, help me understand how that impacts me and why I would want to make that change. And that's going to help people to actually get on board quicker. But again, very often in those first-time leader positions, if we don't know how to communicate effectively, we say, this is what leaders told us we had to do, so we're just going to do it. And then it creates a little dissension in the team. And then I put recognizing individually in there because first-time leaders are often taught how to handle problems. If you've got somebody on your team that's not performing well, this is how you created performance plan, and this is how you end up with discipline and maybe even exit them from the company. We never tell them, what do you do when people are doing things well?
Yes.
Isn't that weird?
Oh, it's so true.
but it happens all the time. And if, again, I'll go back to that Archilochus quote. If all I know is how to discipline people, what am I going to look for? Problems.
Went wrong, yeah.
100%.
And then I'm always looking for the problems. And if I'm looking for problems, I'll find them. But if I know how important it is to actually recognize the good work people are doing, I'm going to start looking for the good in what they do. And if I can just do simple things to say, Larry, man, I love how you handled that client objection. That was so powerful. Thank you for what you're contributing to the team and the company here. What did that take? 15, 20 seconds? I say that to Larry, and Larry's like, I'm important. I am gonna go to bat for this company and this team. And it's a really simple thing if people are looking for it and recognize how to do it.
Oh, this is so good. So I got to zero in on the 3 things that you just shared, and you just got to share the backstory on this. Is out of all of this, why did you hone in and zero in on the 3 things that you just shared? There has to be a backstory or an inspiration to all of this.
Yeah, part of it is my own backstory. You mentioned that you've both been in those experiences where you got thrust into leadership positions. I was there too, and I wanted it. Okay, I asked for it. But I was never given those kind of skills in that. So a lot of this is looking back on saying, where did I fail? Where did I fall down in my leadership? And what would have helped me in those moments? And I really think those 3 skills help. The other side of that is I looked at the most memorable leaders I've had. And the most memorable leaders I've had fall into one of 2 categories. The leader I loved and the leader I left. And you can probably think of both. You probably had leaders you loved, and you probably had leaders you left. Even if you didn't physically leave them, you emotionally left them, right? And I thought, okay, what was it that made the difference in the leaders I loved and the leaders I left? And it had nothing to do with position skills, because both of them knew how to do their jobs well. But the one listened. The leaders I loved would listen to me. They'd communicate clearly to me. They would recognize the work I was doing. They would recognize potential. I'll give you a quick example. One of the leaders I love, so my very first leader, my very first job out of college. And about 3 years into this job, I was like, I'm outgrowing my position. And I had started to look around a little bit, kind of casually, but I'd started to look around. My boss calls me in, closes the door, and she says, I need to talk to you about something. And I'm like, oh no, what did I, my mind's racing. What did I do? What went wrong that she found out about? What is this about that she's closing the door? And she said, I think you've outgrown your position. I want you to rewrite your job description. And when you do, I want you to put words in like lead, supervise, manage, direct, because that will get you a higher level position, will get you more pay and give you more room to grow here within the company. And I want you to include, and she let me write my own job description for a higher paying job because she saw it. She paid enough attention that that's where I was going. And then I went, I don't have to look anymore because I just found the job that I'm after. And that's a leader who's really paying attention, who's listening, and who's recognizing what people are doing and communicates clearly how you can add more value and how you can stay here. And so back to your original question, Larry, the reason I honed into those was largely my own experience. But then again, as I started searching for top skills of new leaders, those 3 skills touch almost everything on that list. And because of that, that's where I like to hone in.
I love this. And I think, one of the things we've said here at Selling from the Heart for years now is salespeople and leaders have a lot in common. I mean, leaders are casting vision and, driving change and all of that. Salespeople are casting vision and driving change. What can sales professionals listening in, how can we think about selling like a person and not a position or a corporate robot, as the case may be?
Well, so think about those first 2 skills that I just talked about, listening intently and communicating intentionally. I think those are key sales skills. Listening not just for, here's the opening where I can get in and talk, or here's the opening where I can get in and put my pitch in, but listening for what is this person's real need? What is the tangible, but also the emotional need that I can help fill there? And listening even to the point of saying, okay, what I'm hearing from you is you've got this need, but this may not be the right time. And so let's talk about when the best time would be. And so I think listening is probably really high on the list of key sales skills. And so as you're listening to understand what your clients really want and need. And then the communicating intentionally, again, it gets down into that why. Helping people not only understand features and benefits and pricing, but why does this matter? Why does it matter to you? What's it really going to do for you? And how can we work together? The combination of listening intently and communicating intentionally, I think, makes a really strong, powerful sales professional.
Oh, this is so freaking good. And when I sit here and listen, I'm listening and I'm going, you got to listen intently, which means y'all got to be present. Because I'm a massive believer in this. If you listen really intently, people are giving you word clues. They're actually giving you word clues. You got to pay attention to it, not thinking about what you're going to say.
Yeah.
But they're actually giving you clues if you zero in on the words that person's actually communicating.
Yeah. There's a great expert on listening. His name's Oscar Trimboli. He's Australian. He's written a beautiful, beautiful book about this. He has what he calls the 125, 400, 900 rule. And what that means is people can speak at about 125 words per minute on average. There's some people that talk a little faster than that, some a little bit slower. But we speak at about 125 words per minute. But we can listen at around 400 words per minute. This is why people, when they listen to podcasts, they'll turn it up to 1.5, 2 times the speed. They can still follow it because we can listen faster than people can speak. But think about the implications of that in a sales conversation. And I'm going to put that to you. What are the implications of you're able to speak at 125 words per minute, but I can listen at 400 words per minute? What do you think the implications are?
I got a lot of opportunity to let my mind wander and leave being present in that moment.
Yeah. And then we're going to jack that up just a little bit more, because the 900 in that is how fast we can think. All right. So I've got all this internal dialogue going on inside of me, to use the words that Larry used, while I'm trying to be present and really listen. So I've got some physiological challenges that make it difficult for me to listen intently unless I'm really focused on it, unless I'm really practiced at it. And I'll tell you, one of the best skills to help you listen intently is going to sound rather easy and rather obvious. And it's breathing. That before you go into a conversation, a sales conversation, a leadership conversation, take a moment before to take a few deep breaths, because it resets your brain, it oxygenates your brain so that you can focus more. Because listening's work. Listening's hard work. And so you need your full brain capacity as you're doing it. And so I encourage people, take that moment to breathe when you're going into a situation where you know you need to listen intently.
Yeah. Wow. That's so simple and so practical and so powerful in all of that. There's so many. We talked earlier about my story, Larry's story, your story. We get promoted into these roles as leaders. I knew I wanted to be a leader someday. I mean, I knew that. I was pretty young when I got promoted into it, but I don't know that I was very prepared. And I just got to know. I mean, hindsight's, as one of my best friends says, hindsight is 50-50. You can, if I was to tell my younger self, I would say, hey, prepare yourself for this. Like, read a book, pick up a copy of Lead Like a Person, Not Like a Position, for example, links in the show notes. But seriously, like, for those folks listening in who aspire to a leadership position someday, in that, I think it would be smart to be prepared. How do you coach us to become prepared to step into a leadership role?
Yeah, I think one of the best ways to be prepared is to find that mentor that you can ask those questions of. I mean, you think about the advice you'd give to your younger self. As I think back, I would go to my younger self and say, go ask somebody to help you develop these skills. And I push that hard in the book. That if you're in an early position in your career and you want to get into leadership, find somebody who is one of the leaders you love and ask them for some mentorship. And say, how do you do this? How do you prepare yourself for those difficult conversations? How do you make sure that you're recognizing people individually? How do you make sure you listen well? What do you do? What helped you to develop those skills? And get somebody to help you along that track. Now, I think the flip side is true too. As leaders, you can look at people that you say, I want them to be in a leadership position someday. Well, then start coaching them on those skills. Reach out to them and say, look, I see leadership and potential in you. Is this a track you want to be on? If they say, yeah, I'd love to get into leadership someday. Great. Here's some skills that you should learn now. Before you get put into that title where you have a leadership position, learn these people skills now and you'll be ahead of the game. And so there's the two sides of it. If you're the person that wants to get into leadership at some point, learn those people skills. Don't expect somebody's going to hand those to you. Learn them and practice them. If you're a leader that you're developing people, look at developing those skills in those people. And then when you make the decision on who you're going to promote into the position, promote not just on position skills. Now, position skills are important. You need to have somebody who knows how to sell in a sales leadership position. You also need the people skills. And so look for people that have both the combination of the position and the people skills. And those are the people you're going to want to put into leadership.
Hey, you know what's interesting about all of this? I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it. People are messy, right?
Okay.
People are messy, yet if people skills are so mission critical and we can recognize that humans are messy, right? Whether that be in the interactions or in the relationships, we're missing a ginormous opportunity to level set on all of this, because I think we assume, well, Mark's got, right, he's been doing this while his people skills are spot on. Darrell's been doing this, gosh, forever and a day, like multiple decades. His people skills are honed in on this. But yet we can all agree, all this stuff's messy.
Yeah.
What happens if we just remove the assumptions in all of this and coach to it?
That's right on. That's right. This is why I love to talk to Larry and Darrell, because you guys are spot on in the way you're thinking about this. But that's it. Don't assume that, these same people skills that they have that make them good at interacting with peers or interacting with other leaders is actually going to translate to them being a good leader and interacting with their people as a leader. There was a great study I heard of a few years back. They asked people, what's the best thing about your work? Number one answer, the people. And then they ask, what's the worst thing about your work? What was the number one answer?
I bet you the same thing.
The people.
The same people. Right, that's to your point. People are messy.
Yeah, of course. Especially Darrell. Darrell's the messiest of them all.
That's right. Don't forget it.
You haven't hung around with me enough, apparently. But it's messy. But there's joy in the messiness too.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so let's find a way to take the messiness and clean it up a little bit and bring more of the joy. And that's good for everybody, including your clients and including your organization's bottom line.
Well, Mark, congratulations on the release of your latest book, Lead Like a Person, Not a Position. I want to highly encourage everyone listening in to grab a copy and grab a couple. You might want to hand this one out. Seriously, though, what a great topic for all of us to be diving in on, whether we're in leadership, aspiring to leadership, or in sales. Go grab a copy of Lead Like a Person, Not a Position. So, Mark, I know our guests are always wondering this question: how can I get more Mark Carpenter in my life?
Well, a simple way on this topic, go to leadlikeaperson.com. Leadlikeaperson.com, and you can find me. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Look for Mark Carpenter in Sandy, Utah. You'll see Lead Like a Person around it and Master Storytelling around that a lot too. Happy to connect with people and talk about this more. As you can tell, I could sit and talk about this all day, and would love to talk to more people who are interested in really having more people-centric leadership, more people who lead from the heart as well as sell from the heart.
I love it.
So good, Mark Carpenter. We appreciate you.
Oh, appreciate you both. You guys are fantastic. Keep up the great work that you're doing, please.
Will do. We're cheering you on, Mark. Thank you.
Thanks, my friend.
What a great conversation. So practical. Lead like a person, not a position. Sell like a person, not like a position. Great frameworks there. And those three things she shared with us are things we can all put into action immediately and improve what we're doing.
Yeah, I just want to zero in on this intentionality. Is we got to be intentional with all of this. As a leader, intentionally create a path inside your company to create some leadership programs, to create some pathway for people to step into that rather than at the last second. Hey, you want to become a leader? Not be keeping it silly simple, but you know where I'm going with all of this is, as a leader, we got to bring intentionality to the forefront, create a pathway for leadership.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us this week. Got great stuff coming up. Thank you to everybody who is leaving reviews and sharing this podcast with your peers. It's helping us spread this movement of authenticity and trust right here in this sales profession we all love. Till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Lead like a person and not a position. And most of all,
sell from the heart.